How's it going? I'm going to talk to you a little bit about SEO specifically for your directory, how to make sure that your directory is able to get shown in search results, whether it's Google search, ChatGPT, any kind of LLM or generative SEO that you need to do in order to make sure that your directory can get found. And then also what that's going to mean for the businesses that you list on it. I'm going to show you specifically what we've done with Smart Directory AI, how to do SEO in Smart Directory AI, the easy things that you need to set up like Google Search Console, submitting your sitemap, all that fun stuff. So let's hop right into it. So my directory right here around Rock Businesses. You can see that I made a couple changes and specifically calling out the name and the location Round Rock Businesses. I'm going to show you where to do that for SEO. I'm also going to show you the kind of like key factors such as submitting your sitemap and where to find all of that information, because that's going to help you quite a bit when it comes to just getting your SEO footprint started. The one thing that you'll notice, and this is with any website, but you're definitely not going to get good organic traffic off the bat unless there's just literally no competition. And that's because Google hasn't indexed your site yet. You don't need to have that traffic off the bat to market to people, because remember, if you're like me, you're going to go with potentially a premium plan that's an annual plan for them. And also what you're giving them already out of the box, if you give them a listing, you're giving them what's called a backlink. And the more backlinks you get as a business, as your own website, directory site, anything, the more you're building a web of trust. So you're having a backlink is a link from someone else to your site. And each link is basically a little mini endorsement saying that your site is legitimate. So you have people that sell backlinks and they're on like weird spammy sites and they're not related to your local area. They're not related to the industry you serve. Those are not really all that helpful. And you might be surprised to hear this, but if you as a small business or as a small like local directory are linked to from the New York Times, it might be really helpful because it's a big website and has a lot of what's called domain authority, but it's not necessarily going to be helpful in the same way as even like a local church linking to you, because that local church has established authority in your area. And if you're a directory website, that's basically them saying that you are a legitimate website in that area and it's them endorsing you and they've already got a footprint in that area. Similarly, if you're like an industry, so let's say you've got plumbers as your focus and you're doing like an industry directory, then you definitely want to make sure that you reach out to, of course, all the local businesses around you that are plumbers. But if there is like a plumbers group, I don't know, a union or something like that, and they linked to your directory, that would be more authority than like wired.com. Yeah, directory sites, I don't use them. And definitely I urge you to watch the other replays. There are a bunch of videos. We don't really use them just as getting traffic for the directory site itself. The backlinks that it provides to the local businesses or your industry businesses are going to be really helpful for them. And over time, you're going to get more traffic. And that's what I'm showing you some of this SEO stuff so you can do that. But we view them more as like your foot in the door to these businesses, because then you can get them as clients and you can sell them marketing services or AI agent services. So when they get all these phone calls, instead of having to answer them or hire additional staff, they're able to have an AI agent just make an appointment right there on their website or on the phone and reduce their overhead. So we use directories as really like the real path toward a sustained relationship with a business, not just kind of getting AdSense traffic or something. So I think this is my conceptually, hopefully not too long-winded, how SEO works. That's the basis of it. And it's the same with GEO, generative SEO, AI SEO, however you want to term it. It's all coming from the same place. It's trying to serve whoever's looking for a thing, the thing that they want. And in ChatGPT's case, Google's case, they get signals based on if you click a link, how long you're on that website, whether you immediately click back or not, and whether or not you do another search trying to find that same thing again, which tells them that whatever they provided, like whatever link they provided didn't work. Whereas if they search for a local plumber, they click you and then they go and search for something different. Totally works out really well. And they know that they found that local plumber through you. Oh, awesome that you set up the directory today. It's a good day to do it. You know, you're sitting at home. Hopefully you're not too full off of turkey and stuffing still. I think I'm on day 3 of leftovers. But it's a good day to do it. Hopefully you're nice and relaxed. And we got a bunch of videos like this. You'll get a bunch of that training anyway. And if you have questions, you can always pop them in the comments here or wherever. So let's dive into the actual SEO stuff. I'm going to take a little sip of water because my throat's already dry. One of the things that actually I might take for granted, because I did a lot of local SEO, is the domain name. So my actual directory website is focused on Round Rock, Texas, which is an area not too far from us. And so the domain name itself has Round Rock in it. It doesn't have Round Rock, Texas in it. I looked it up to make sure, but there's no other Round Rocks apparently in the US. And I just have roundrockbusinesses.com. So that's a pretty good domain name. I know that Tom and Nick have hawaiithrive.com. Tom also has ghostsummerlin.com for Summerlin, Nevada. So you can do any kind of variation, but if you can get the city name or the location name, so let's say your North Phoenix, your directory is North Phoenix, northphoenixbusinesses.com or gonorthphoenix.com. Like those are all good options too. It doesn't necessarily have to be a city. It could be a region, something that people just search for. So that matches the domain name to your actual directory site name. The other thing that you want to do is look at your meta information, which is not necessarily as critical. So there are two things, and I'm going to show you this free tool. It's called Detail SEO. It's a Chrome extension you can just download and put on here. It's going to tell you, if you go to any website, what the title is. So the title is, it's also called the meta title. If you hover over a tab, you'll see it show up. This stipulates how many characters it should be. That's not as important anymore. The description used to be really important, not as important anymore, because most of the time, Google or even ChatGPT, whatever, are going to just summarize what they think it is, and they're going to replace the description. I shouldn't say most of the time, but some of the time. So if you look at search results, and let's go ahead, let me do a like incognito window here. Hopefully you can see this. If we do, I'm going to just search Round Rock businesses. And I know I shouldn't come up yet because this hasn't been up here a ton. If I look at Round Rock Chamber of Commerce, this right here is the meta description, all this stuff. It may be completely, see, there's nothing actually here. This is all just so it's not necessarily significant. I always change it anyway. And hopefully you can see that incognito window. And in order to do that, I'm going to show you how you do that with Smart Directory. We go into Smart Directory here. So if we want to change our meta information, so our title and our description, we're going to go to, and there are really two places that you go to change anything with Smart Directory. You either go to Settings, and here, for example, you would put like your Google Tag Manager code for analytics and stuff, or you go to Branding, and this is where we're actually going to change the meta title, meta description. So you can see it's right up here on this tab for General. And all I did was really just type in, let me give you a little look here. I'm going to show you on a little Google Sheet because that's going to be a little easier to see everything. So all I did was type in Round Rock TX businesses, small businesses in Round Rock, and then I added the zip codes. This is, like I said, this one's a little long. Sometimes it's good to have zip codes, phone numbers, anything that really kind of like nails down the local area. So I like to put it in there, even if it's lengthy, it doesn't really detract. And then I do equal len, and then shift over A1 just being that cell there. And I guess my pointing is probably not in the right direction there, that way. And that just tells me the length. You don't need to worry as much about this recommended length here. I think it usually wants you under 55 or 60. This, I think it wants you under 155. But it's good if you just don't want anything too long, because you know it's not going to look at things that are too far. And then the meta description, as you can see here, I did the same thing. I'm going to paste this in as well, and you can just see what I wrote. Round Rock businesses is the best way to find trusted small businesses near you. Explore shops, services, restaurants, and more all in one place. And I'm just going to make a change here just so you can see how quickly it updates. So I'm going to say the best way to find trusted small businesses in, let's just say in Central Texas, in the north of Austin. This is probably not the best SEO, but I'm just doing it so we can see a change. Let's just do that. I'm going to copy it over, paste it in this meta description. Now you have to make sure you scroll down, you hit update. You can see the other stuff that I updated here. And now if I go, right now it hasn't updated yet. So you can see it's still the old thing. I'm just going to do a little refresh. And you can see that our updates are already live. I pushed it a little too far. It's a little too long, but that's okay for now. It's not the end of the world. It is something I would definitely change your title though, because when people hover over this, it's good for the title is worth changing. Meta description I would change as well. I just wouldn't worry too much about the SEO there. I'm going to show you a couple things that are more important. And then just to like show you where we changed some of the key content on that homepage, because you notice I find Round Rock, Texas businesses you can trust. I went down here onto title, and then the subtitle is search by name, category, or keyword. It's this thing right here. And if I scroll down further, this is split up into 3 parts as well. Support local Round Rock businesses. Round Rock businesses is your go-to directory. So you can see that that's these first 2 lines. And then this 3rd line here. I actually opted not to change this picture out. Sitemap. So let's go ahead and let me show you the sitemap, where to find it, what it is. So I'm going to go to, actually, we'll do it on the same tab. So yourbusiness.com. So this is built into Smart Directory. And yes, mine is popping up because I've already typed it in, but it's just sitemap.xml. A little bit to make this easier to read. You don't need to necessarily worry too much about it. I'm just going to explain it to you. This looks hard to read at first, but you start kind of like figuring it out once you scan it. This is your main, your kind of like homepage, your main domain site, your domain name, and then just kind of the index page is what we call it. It's already in here. This is just a way for really web crawlers to kind of map out all the pages on your website. Again, you don't have to do anything to generate this. Smart Directory generates it for you. But you can see it also generates that for your blogs pages, your events, news feeds, plans. Similarly, if I take the detailed page, which is like an actual business page for Round Rock Family or Rock Ridge Family Dentistry, and I put it in there, I can see that it actually opens up the page for a specific business. But you can see all the detail pages. These are all things that can be crawled by like Google bots or ChatGPT, whatever else. And this is going to be something where it just makes it a little bit easier. So it's not as like labor intensive for them to find every link on your site. We're just telling them flat out, and that's what the sitemap does. These are all the pages that we have that we want indexed and available on Google. So theoretically, if someone's searching for Rock Ridge Family Dentistry, let's go back to our, hopefully you can see this incognito window, and let's do Rock Ridge Family Dentistry Round Rock, Texas. Let's see. In theory, we could show up here. Again, my directory is pretty new, so I'd be surprised if we were on the first page, but we show up a couple pages in. Yeah, you know what? I think because I just submitted this sitemap, it hasn't been crawled yet. So let's go back here. So let me show you what I mean by submitted the sitemap. So I showed you what the sitemap is. We've kind of checked that box. We've talked a little bit about the site structure. I'm not going to get too much into it right now. We've talked a little bit about the content and backlinks. I do want to make sure that I actually show you how to submit your sitemap. What you want to do is connect to Google Search Console, which if you look up Google Search Console, it's really easy to do. Connect your business. Again, there are already guides to do that, so I don't want to walk through that. But now I've had this connected for a couple weeks. I did not submit my sitemap until Wednesday, so a lot of it hasn't been crawled yet. It usually takes, let's say, about 10 days, 2 weeks for it to start doing that. But I can look already and see that I've had 4 total web search clicks. I can scroll down and see how many pages have been indexed, and it really has only found 4 pages. Obviously, I have many more than that. So I know that it hasn't indexed the vast majority. This says specifically of the 4, it has only indexed 1. It hasn't indexed 3. I can go to my full report and just see, again, like we said there, in order to get pages indexed, Google will automatically do that over time. Just LLMs will do that as well, ChatGPT, whatever. But I can go ahead and submit my sitemap. So all you do there, you take that URL that has sitemap.xml at the end, and you just enter it here and hit submit. Now, because I've already done that a couple of days ago, 2 days ago, I'm not going to do it again. Yeah, you want to submit this to get it indexed a little bit quicker. Google will just find things over time, but if you submit your sitemap, it's going to give it that boost to actually seek out your pages. And if you go to Google Search Console, just Google that itself. Google has a really quick and easy guide. So I wouldn't worry too much about setting that up. And so from a Go High Level affiliate or agency owner standpoint, what are the benefits to setting up a directory such as this? The main benefits are from the workflows. So a couple of the other live streams, I go through very specifically what the email workflows that you get out of the box are. And I'll talk about that in 2 seconds here. I'll dive into it again, because that's really, really kind of like, if you were to say what's the one biggest benefit, it's for prospecting in order to get clients. and really allowing you to do cold email in such a way that it's not really cold email, if you know what I mean there, and I'll explain that too. But you submit the sitemap, Google's going to crawl that. It's going to help boost that SEO, give you that kind of step forward to where your pages can get found. So in those searches that we do, you'll actually potentially show up for, what is it, Rockridge Family Dentistry or whatever else. So then over time, and again, if you're selling like an annual plan for someone for a premium listing, by the end of that year, they will be getting real legitimate benefit from the traffic from your website. But let's talk quickly because we do have a couple more minutes here. Yeah, I've shown you all this stuff, so I think we've nailed that down. I'm not too worried about it. Let me talk quickly about answer that question for what the benefits are. First off, because this is on top of Go High Level, what you're actually doing when you upload businesses, and I'm going to go to my context tab to show you, is, so let's say, that's interesting. I think a couple people added themselves. So if I click into one of these businesses, these are all contacts that I uploaded just directly into Go High Level. I just added a business tag to them. First off, they have all of this information that's just through the format that we tell you to use. And I did a video on that maybe 2 weeks ago, maybe 3. It automatically will not only put their contact in your contacts, so then you can use their CRM part of Go High Level just like anything else. But if you add the tag that's just called business, and actually let's just go back, it's easier to see it here. If you add the business tag, then that's going to add them to the directory. So once they're in the directory, and I'll walk you through this pretty quickly here because it doesn't take too long. We'll use Chewy's as an example because it's right at the top. So once it's in the directory, so I have a contact where the first name is Chewy's, and then this is their location. I added the business tag Mexican restaurant, and that puts them, let's go to dining, Mexican restaurant. That puts them in here. So that gives them the directory listing here. Now I could add a business description and all of that. I'm keeping my free listings relatively light. I might still go back and just add more pictures and things to make them a little more colorful. But you can see directly there's a link between the contact and the business listing. And that's critical because when you go to Go High Level again, you get a bunch of workflows out of the box with Smart Directory. And these workflows, if I don't know how familiar you are, so I'm going to assume you're pretty familiar, but I'm just going to give a little over explanation. If I go to either my marketing or automation, I'm going to go to, I think, just automation to make it a little quicker here. I go to my workflows. These are all out of the box. And I have a training, again, it's 2 or 3 weeks ago, where I show you exactly how to do this. I go to my outreach workflow, then I go to the free listing. And first off, I can see the stats of how many people clicked and replied and everything with this. I can click into it. I can see all of these steps that someone went through and what they got. So these emails went out automatically. Now I did tweak a couple things, and then I added people to the automation. So that way I could add a bunch of listings to the site without adding people immediately to the automation. And that's why this trigger here is not defined, basically. So you can add the individuals from the contact in a group as you want, as you have their listing updated, as you have all the information you need. But I have this template that just goes out. And again, all of this is not stuff that I built. This is stuff that comes out of the box. The only changes I made, I added in Round Rock here and a little bit better like localization description from the historic downtown to the tech hubs along I-35 and everywhere else. So just a slightly more local flavor. But all of this stuff, these are all the values that automatically get populated, and I can hit preview here and show you. These are going to go to each individual business that I put through this. So not only did I put them in as a listing, but then I added them to the automation. So that's really what you get. And this is one of several emails. And then if someone responds, I'm going to respond manually. You could, on your own, set up automated responses. I don't recommend that. So I wouldn't do that, because when someone replies, you want to just reply. Like, they might say something where they ask specifically for help with marketing or whatever. They ask about your website. But all these emails here are customized slightly. And then, yeah, exactly. So by having this directory, you're building a relationship with all the local businesses, upselling premium listings. I'm reading your comment out loud because it's 100% correct here. So I'll play upselling premium listings later and hopefully providing more higher ticket services later. That honestly, that's like the elevator pitch of the entire reason for having a directory. Not only Smart Directory, but broadly speaking, unless you're really going for just like the get a ton of traffic to a play, which takes way too much time and to me is too risky, especially with the way that AI search is coming in. Yeah, awesome. I found out about Smart Directory through trying to build this sort of thing myself. I've got 10 years as a software engineer, but it's way more overhead when you build the database yourself. You build all the way more overhead. You don't have to do any maintenance on this. That's why I have the Round Rock one on this. I have two different ones that, again, maintenance is just way too much overhead for what I want. So you have this free listing outreach and the premium listing outreach, premium upgrade push, which if they've responded, these are people actively enrolled because these are people who claim their listing. So they're automatically put into that flow. And then you also have all of these other flows, like what happens when someone, if their claim gets approved, they automatically get put into a workflow. So you don't have to manage any of this. What happens when someone claims their listing is, let me go back to Smart Directory. So you'll see on your dashboard that it's pending right here. These two, I saw that they were pending. And then you go into businesses and you'll see claim requests. Right, I can just click close request here and I can see this is one that was closed. The other one, they added a business, so it just doesn't show here. But all you do is you hit approve. And that's basically like the maintenance level here. And now they're put into that other workflow. And also I know that they were interested. So in a week or two, I like to give the workflow time to play out. And then I don't want to follow up immediately. I want to give them a little bit of time so I'm not like a stalker. Then I can reach out and just give them a phone call and say, hey, you claimed your listing. Let's actually look at their listing and see if they updated it. They are a roofing company, family and friends. Yeah, they haven't added any images. So for me to call them and say, hey, I noticed you claimed your listing. Have you added any images? Have you added a business description? Do you want me to add hours for you? Do you know how to do that? I've opened this door where I'm just offering to help them. And then we can start that conversation about services and what I can provide. But initially, again, I'm helping them. So that's, first off, as someone who hates cold calling, does not like the sales part of the process, it makes it much easier to have that conversation. And secondly, again, I don't feel like I'm reaching out trying to sell them something. I'm reaching out trying to help them. And I can look at their website. I can say, you know what, I've also noticed, let's just do this while we're here. I know I'm over time, but we'll give it one more minute. I can say, you know what, you don't have a chat widget. Do you find like you're spending a lot of time manually handling like booking appointments? Do you feel like that takes up a lot of time? Is this something that you might want that just kind of takes care of booking it already and hooks into your calendar? So you can have all of that stuff just, again, off the bat. Yeah, it is sweet. Like there are people who have been doing this for a long time and realized the power play that directories are. I came to it in the last couple of months or so, and that's how I kind of met up with Smart Directory. But it's really a good business model. Like it's really good. It's really powerful. Yeah, but that's everything that I wanted to run through. I just wanted to really kind of discuss the local SEO part. Yeah, my replays, I have most of the stuff that you've asked about are in the live videos. The other thing is if you've already gotten Smart Directory, they have all the training. So you want to go through that as well. There are differences between what we do and that I'm a little bit more like rambly, but very specific, like how to set up the site and how to do all these things. The trainings are excellent. They're going to be a lot more to the point. But yeah, it is really, really cool, really powerful. And I would say go for it full speed ahead.